So let's talk about getting rid of the word you in your college level writing. This is a simple trick that you can use to make all of your writing sound more formal and more educated. So it all boils down to you can't write you in a college level paper. Why not? Well, it's unacceptable to write you in a college level paper for two main reasons. Number one, it kind of shows weak thought and weak sentence structure. And what I mean is the word you is an incredibly lazy word. We just throw it out there in conversation because it's so convenient. We don't even think who we mean when we say you. So uh, it just kind of screams laziness. It's so easy to put out there in conversation that it's just as easy to put it out in writing, and that's not very impressive. The second thing is it's too informal. You can call people that you know very well you, but you don't go around calling strangers and teachers and people that you want to impress you. So now that you know why you don't want to write you in a college level paper, let's talk about how to take the Y bomb out of our writing. This is the best way, and this is the way that I use whenever I'm writing. You can avoid writing you simply by replacing it with a noun or pronoun that refers to the person you are addressing. The two yous in this sentence refer to anyone trying to become a better writer, meaning students, experienced writers, lawyers, anyone else. So let's rewrite that sentence by dropping the Y bombs and replacing them with better nouns and pronouns. College level writers can avoid writing you simply by replacing it with a noun that refers to the person they are addressing. You notice I have a far more specific subject now, college level writers, instead of the totally open you. Here's another sentence. Give this one a try and see how you'd fix it up. If you don't pay attention in class, your grade will most likely suffer. Here's what I would do. I would change it to if students don't pay attention in class, their grades will most likely suffer. Students is a far more specific subject than you. That's what makes this a better, stronger sentence. Now, there is another way that you can eliminate the Y bomb, but it's a little more labor intensive. You can always start from scratch. When stuck, a good writer can avoid writing you by thinking creatively and rebuilding the sentence from scratch. Just highlight the sentence and hit backspace, get rid of it, and start over. The two examples we're going to talk about on this slide come from real student papers, and both students insisted that there was no better way to write these sentences. Here's the first one. It was so hot you could feel your skin melting. The subject of this sentence is you, but you might not have been there, so that's just not a good subject. After a little bit of drafting and arguing, the student finally came up with this much better sentence. The sun was so hot it seemed to melt everything it touched. Notice how powerful that is? The sun becomes the subject of the sentence instead of the open you that can refer to anyone. Here's another one. You could hear the thunder from miles away. Again, the subject of this sentence is you, but you probably weren't there, so it's just not accurate. The student revised it and came up with, the thunder roared through the sky and shook the earth. Here, the thunder is the subject of the sentence, and that's a really powerful subject. Now, this will take a little bit of work. It's never fun to get rid of a chunk of text and start from scratch, but sometimes you gotta do it. Now, there is another way, and it's kind of a last resort. If you find yourself completely stuck and you don't know how to get rid of the Y bomb, the word one is a formal way of addressing an interested reader because you is just too informal. So you might have a sentence that says, you never want to sound too chummy with strangers. You could change that to, one never wants to sound too chummy with strangers. Notice it just sounds a little more formal, a little more educated. The catch is that you can only use this trick once per paper. You're not allowed to go through your paper and highlight all the Y bombs and just replace them with one bombs. That would still be a lazy and informal paper. That wouldn't impress anybody. Please use this trick sparingly. Literally, use it once per paper. It's a last resort. You use it to get yourself out of a bind, but don't rely on it. So there you go. A couple of minutes and you just learned a really tight trick to make your writing sound a lot more formal and make yourself sound a lot more educated.